Sit close, child. Thyre is dying, and the old ways are heavy upon my heart. Listen to what was truly known. The Noaidi did not just walk the earth. He journeyed into the hidden places to find our people's path through the unseen. He held the goavddis, the drum of reindeer skin. When he struck it, his soul traveled where no man could follow on foot. The markings upon the hide were not mere patterns, they were the very map of our world and its secret gate. A small piece of wood hung above the skin. Its movement told him if we would find game or if spirits remained hostile. When the old men spoke of the drum, they spoke of a map into the hidden places where the spirits lived. The skin of the reindeer held the marks of our world, showing him where to walk when the spirit left his body. He would strike the hide, and the steady beat pulled his soul into the deep rhythm of the earth's own heartbeat. He did not hear the walls closing in, for he was traveling through the paths known only to the elders before me. But the men who came with iron and heavy laws saw only a tool for forbidden secrets that they could not understand. When the Noaidi struck the hide, the markings became a map. He watched the plum stone dance to find where the spirits hid their faces from our sight. They took them to distant lands, locking them behind stone and cold glass. Now the drums are silent, held in places where no one knows their songs or the spirits they call. When the plum moved across the markings, it spoke truths of the hunt. It showed the path through the snow, or warned of a spirit's presence nearby. Old men told me that when the first hunters were taken, and their drums seized by those from the south, a great silence fell over our sacred ground. They took the items of our blood and spirit as evident. They called it magic, but they only saw what their eyes were permitted to see by their own laws. Now we face the long work of bringing these voices home. The drum must be reunited with our people so it may speak to those who truly know its name. They took the drums from my grandfather's hands when the soldiers came. They believed they were stealing magic, but they only stole our way of speaking to the spirits. The skin of the reindeer became silent under their touch. They did not understand that each mark on the hide was a path for our people to walk safely between worlds. They burned many our brothers who tried to keep their rituals alive. Those objects they kept in their stone houses are not just wood. They are the memories of those we lost. Now we must find a way to bring them home. If the drum remains in their hands, our connection to the old ones will fade into nothing but shadow and silence.
To understand the power of these instruments today, we must look at their physical reality as artifacts of a lost era. These drums are not just objects of worship, but documented historical tools, now preserved in museums across the European continent. Their survival is a miracle of history. Between the 16th and 18th centuries, many were seized or destroyed during periods of intense persecution. In regions like Finnmark, the drums of Sámi men were confiscated by authorities following trials for witchcraft. Despite centuries of separation, researchers have identified striking symbolic parallels. The same iconography found on these drums in Norway and Sweden appears in prehistoric rock paintings in Finland, featuring horned figures, proving a deeply consistent cultural continuity across the vast pre-Christian Sámi territories. Modern science now validates the physical mechanism of the ritual. The steady repetitive drumming creates a specific acoustic stimulation, 4 to 9 beats per second, which aligns closely with the brain's theta band, facilitating deep states of meditative trance and mental focus. Neurological studies show that individuals whose brains synchronize with these theta-frequency rhythms exhibit higher levels of experience during the session. This neural tracking provides a measurable biological marker for how the human brain interacts with the ritual's specific, enduring frequency. In the traditional worldview of Sámi cosmology, the Noaidi served as a vital spiritual guide for the seed. They were perceived as essential intermediaries capable of navigating the 3 realms to seek game, perform healing rituals, and communicate with spirits of nature. To facilitate soul traveling between worlds, the Noaidi utilized a ceremonial drum known as a goavddis. Constructed with a wooden base and a reindeer skin membrane, these drums were marked with specific iconography, representing the world environment that the Sámi people inhabited. By placing a plum on the drum's surface, the Noaidi could follow its movement to predict outcomes or navigate spiritual realms. These physical tools allowed the practitioner to interpret signs during rituals intended for divination and finding guidance within their traditional cosmology. Many of these sacred artifacts were confiscated or destroyed during periods of persecution between the 16th and 18th centuries. Today, These drums are preserved in museums as vital pieces of cultural heritage, representing a history of endurance against systematic attempts to silence Sámi traditions. While these artifacts were once central to ritual life in Sápmi, they are now preserved primarily as cultural heritage. Many were confiscated or destroyed during periods of persecution and witch trials between the 16th and 18th centuries across Northern Europe. In regions like Finnmark, Norway, many of these sacred items were seized by authorities as the cultural landscape changed. Today, they survive in archives and museums, serving as tangible evidence of a long-standing pre-Christian Sámi religious tradition. Modern research highlights commonalities in these sacred symbols. Scholars have noted striking similarities between the iconography on drums from Scandinavia and prehistoric rock paintings in Finland, both featuring horned figures and triangular heads, suggesting a shared cultural root across centuries. Science now explores the neurobiology of these trance states. Research indicates that repetitive, monotonic rhythms, specifically between 4 to 9 beats per second, can induce deep meditative absorption and relaxation by aligning with the brain's theta-frequency band. Specifically, these theta-frequency rhythms are linked to states of hypnosis. Data suggests that individuals whose brains synchronize more strongly with these specific beats reported higher levels of sensory absorption during ritual drumming, providing a biological link between the traditional tool and its intended psychological effect. While many drums are now silent relics in distant museums, some individual artifacts carry the weight of specific history. One such drum once belonged to Anders Poulsen, a man prosecuted for witchcraft in 1692. This particular instrument moved through layers of ownership, passing through various hands and states of legal possession for centuries before its true identity was acknowledged by those who held it in trust. Its journey through history was marked by the era of persecution, where such items were often confiscated or declared forbidden. Its survival remains an anomaly against the tide of confiscations and destructions. In 2022, a significant shift occurred. The legal title for this specific drum was officially transferred from Danish holdings back to the Sámi people in Norway, reclaiming its place within their cultural lineage. Its journey is now complete in law, yet it remains as a silent witness. It stands as a recovered fragment of a worldview that refused to be entirely erased by time or decree. The artifact once known as the Drum of Anders Poulsen stood in a different world, one of confiscation and silence. In 1692, the records show it was seized under the weight of accusations. For centuries it remained a piece of evidence held in distant hands. It sat behind glass and administrative barriers, its original purpose hidden by the passage of time and shifting ownership. In 2022, the legal status shifted. The title was officially transferred from Danish holdings back to the Sámi people in Norway. It moved from a piece of evidence to a reclaimed heritage. Drum is now a physical anchor for the Sámi people. Its rhythmic surface holds the memory of divinations performed long ago, now reclaimed as an enduring symbol of cultural continuity. It remains a quiet witness to what was lost and what was found. It stands as an artifact no longer defined by the law of its capture, but by the spirit of its origin.